Hey everyone, Zank is here, and today we got another commander deck. We got Jodah Archmage Eternal. But before we get into that, remember to hit the link down in the description. I have another giveaway for this month for May, so just hit that link and enter to win some cool cards there. And as always, subscribe and leave me a comment. So we got Jodah. Jodah is my favorite character in this game, and I'm so excited that he finally got a card of his own. Jodah's a legendary wizard, human. He's flying 4/3, but why we're playing him is for his ability. You may pay Uber, white, blue, black, red, green, rather than pay mana cost for spells that you cast. So we're going to need a really good mana base and some mana fixing, so let's get into that first. Up top, we have Path of Ancestry. Path of Ancestry enters the battlefield tapped. Add 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, which is every color. So we get any color from this land. We got 4 forests, 4 islands, 4 mountains, 4 plains, and 2 swamps. We got a Arcane Sanctum. Comes into play tapped. You add white, blue, black. We got a Bant Panorama. Adds colorless, or you could search for a forest, plains, or an island. Cascading Cataracts. It's indestructible, which is nice. You add colorless, or you tap 5 and add 5 mana in any combination of colors to your mana pool. So that's this is perfect if you got a Soul Ring out or some other mana creating that's creating colorless, and you just tap 5 and add 5 of every color, 1 of every color. Command Tower, add to your mana pool 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity, just like Path of Ancestry, but this doesn't come to play tapped. It comes into play untapped. We have a Crumbling Necropolis. Comes into play tapped, and you add blue, black, or red. Crystal Quarry is basically just like Cascading Cataracts. Pay 5, add white, blue, black, red, and green. We have Esper's Panorama. Add colorless, or sack and search for a plains, island, or swamp. You got the Grixis, which is search for island, swamp, mountain. Jund, swamp, mountain, forest. And Naya is mountain, forest, plains. Okay, we have Exotic Orchid. Add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. Most of the time this is any color because you're playing against 3 other people. They're going to be playing a lot of colors. Just remember, turn 1, it doesn't do anything. If you're starting the game and turn 1, this doesn't do anything because your opponents don't have any lands, so can't produce any of that mana. Okay, Frontier Biovac. It comes into play tapped. Add green, blue, red. Have a Jungle Shrine. It's red, green, white. Blue, red, white is Mystic Monastery. We have a Nomad Outpost, which is red, white, and black. Opulent Palace, black, green, and blue. Reflecting Pool. Add to your mana pool 1 color, 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. We got Sandstep Citadel, white, black, and green. Savage Lands is black, red, and green. Seaside Citadel, green, white, and blue. And we have Thespian Stage, which adds 1 colorless to your mana pool, or becomes a copy of any land, and it gains this ability, so it could change into any lands you want. Let's talk about our 1-drops. We have Chromatic Sphere, some color fixing, and card draw. Chromatic Star, again, color fixing and card draw, which is nice. Soul Ring, I think every commander deck has a Soul Ring in it, right? Terrarion, so 1-drop artifact, comes into play tapped. Pay 2, sack it, and it's add 2 mana of any combination And when it goes into the graveyard, you draw a card, so it replaces itself. We got Mother of Runes in here to protect Jodah, because he's going to be a lightning rod, basically. Just tap it and give protection of whatever's targeting him. Now we got Felwar Stone. Add 1 mana of any color that a land an opponent controls could produce. So some more mana fixing. Kaleidoscope. It's artifact. Come to play, draw a card, tap 5, sacrifice it, add white, blue, black, red, and green. So it's only a one-time use, but it's pretty good. Prophetic Prism, some more color fixing, and draws you a card. Swiftfoot Boots, we got this to protect Jodah again. We want to double down on that, protect them as good as we can. Hexproof and haste. Selfless Spirit. Flying 2/1 for 2. Sacrifice Selfless Spirit. Creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. This is protection for Jodah and for your whole board, for any board wipes or anything like that. Sylvan Library is to draw through your library. You're going to pay 1 and a green enchantment. At the beginning of your draw step, you may draw 2 additional cards. If you do, choose 2 cards in your hand drawn this turn. For each of those cards, pay 4 life or put the card on top of the library. Manamorphose, some color fixing with the card draw. And the last 2-drop is a Safi Eriksdatter. Sacrifice Safi Eriksdatter. When target creature is put into your graveyard from play this turn, return that card to play. Alright, that's good for the Enter the Battlefield cards that we have coming up. Okay, now our 3-drops we have, of course, Chromatic Lantern, color fixing, and produces mana. Darksteel Plate, another equipment that is going to protect Jodah. We want to keep him in play. And some redundancy here for Jodah. You have Fist of Suns. It's a 3-cost, and you may pay white, blue, black, red, and green rather than pay the mana cost of spells you play. So some redundancy there. Lifecrest's Bestiary. It's good for card draw, and it's also good for scrying every upkeep. So that's good. That's a good card to keep in. It's helped me out a lot. Bastion Protector. Commander creatures you control get +2/+2 and have indestructible. So some protection there. Dauntless Escort. Sacrifice Dauntless Escort. Creatures you control are indestructible this turn. Krozen Grip. Split second and destroy target artifact or enchantment. And Joria of the Githu. You pay 2, exile a non-land card from your hand, put 4 time counters on exiled card. If it doesn't have suspend, it gains suspend. Alright. So for our 4-drops, we have Wildfire Eternal, Afflict 4. Whenever Wildfire Eternal attacks and isn't blocked, you may cast an instant or sorcery card from your hand without paying its mana cost, which is nice. And it gets some damage through if it is blocked. Defense of the Heart. During your upkeep, if one of your opponents control 3 or more creatures, sacrifice Defense of the Heart. Search your library for up to 2 creature cards and put those creatures into play. Shuffle your library afterwards. So this is nice to get our big guys out. Greater Good. 2 and 2 green, you get an enchantment. Sacrifice a creature. Draw cards equal to sacrifice creature's power, then discard 3. So we're going to be drawing lots of cards with this because we got some big guys in this deck. Tangum Wita Master. Instant sorceries and dragon spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, if the master attacked this turn, that spell gains rebound. Okay. And now we have Unexpected Results. With a lot of these big creatures and stuff, this is a great card to get things out turn 4. Shuffle your library, then reveal the top card. If it's a non-land card, you may cast it without paying its mana cost. If it's a land card, you may put it into the battlefield and return unexpected results to its owner's hand. It's a fun card. We got Maelstrom Archangel. So for white, blue, black, red, and green, it has flying. Whenever Maelstrom Archangel deals combat damage to a player, you may play a non-land card from your hand without paying its mana cost. It's a 5/5. Seaborn Muse. Untap all permanents you control during each other player's untap step. And our promise, this is just to get some lands out onto the field. It's color fixing again. Composite Golem. Sacrifice him, add white, blue, black, red, green. Jodah's Avenger. It's a 4/4 for 6 and has pay 0 until end of turn. Jodah's Avengers gets -1/-1 and gains your choice of double strike, protection from red, vigilance, or shadow. Sunbird's Invocation. This is a fun card, especially to play with Maelstrom. What's his name? He's over here somewhere. Maelstrom Wanderer. You get a bunch of cards when you play this and him. Whenever you cast a spell from your hand, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the spell's converted mana cost. You may cast a card revealed this way with converted mana cost X or less without paying its mana cost. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. We have Atali Primal Storm. When Atali Primal Storm attacks, exile the top cards of each player's library. Then you may cast any number of non-land cards exiled this way without paying their mana cost. Narset Enlightened Master. First Strike and Hexproof. Whenever Narset Enlightened Master attacks, exile the top 4 cards of your library. Till end of turn, you may cast non-creature cards exiled with Narset without paying their mana cost. And Seasons Past. Return any number of cards with different converted mana costs from your graveyard to your hand. Put Seasons of Past on the bottom of its owner's library. This is nice after a board wipe or something. You get everything back into your hand. Charnel Horde Worm. It's a 6/6 trampler. Whenever Charnel Horde Worm deals damage to an opponent, you may return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Hornet Queen. This is nice for a bunch of great blockers. You throw this down, you get a 4/1/1 green insect creature tokens with flying and death touch. And she also has flying and death touch. Panglackle Worm. Trample. Whenever you're searching your library, you may play the worm from your library, which is nice. Zendikar's Resurgent. Whenever you tap a land for mana, add 1 mana to your mana pool of any type that land produced. Whenever you cast a creature spell, draw a card. That's some mana fixing there. Just ramp up. If you have enough to play anything, you could play it twice, because you're adding white, blue, black, red, green from each source. You could add 2 white, 2 blue, 2 black, 2 green, 2 red, and you get to play 2 really big cards. Brilliant Ultimatum. Remove the top 5 cards of your library from the game. An opponent separates those cards into 2 piles. You may play any number of the cards from one of those piles without paying their mana cost. We have Cruel Ultimatum. Target opponent sacrifices a creature, discards 3 cards, then loses 5 life. Then you return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand, draw 3 cards, and gain 5 life. And we have Violent Ultimatum. Destroy 3 target permanents. And we have Titanic Ultimatum. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +5/+5, gain first strike, lifelink, and trample. And we have Volcanic Vision. Return target instant or sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. Volcanic Vision deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to each creature your opponent controls. Exile Volcanic Visions. Alright, we got Sphinx of the Steel Wind. He has flying First strike, vigilance, lifelink, protection from red and green, and is a 6/6. Ashen Rider, flying. When Ashen Rider enters the battlefield or dies, exile target permanent. Terraston. It's a 9/9. When it comes into the battlefield, enters the battlefield, you may destroy up to 3 target non-creature permanents. For each permanent put into the graveyard this way, its controller puts a 3/3 green elephant creature token onto the battlefield. We have Sandworm Convergence. Creatures with flying can attack you or planeswalkers you control. At the beginning of your end step, create a 5/5 green worm creature token. Maelstrom Wanderer. Creatures you control have haste and cascade. So you cascade twice. And we have Zatalpa Primal Dawn. It's a 4/8 flying, double strike, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. We got Bringer of the Blue Dawn. He has a built-in play for white, blue, black, red, and green. And at the beginning of your upkeep, you may draw 2 cards with trample. Mjorn of Life's Web. It comes into play with the divinity counter on it if you played it from your hand. It is indestructible as long as it has a divinity counter on it. Or you can remove the divinity counter, put any number of creature cards from your hand into play. Now we got Zakama Primal Calamity. Vigilance Reach. It's a 9/9. When Zakama Primal Calamity enters the battlefield, if you cast it, untap all lands you control. Then you pay 2 in a red, deals 3 damage to target creature. 2 in a green, destroy target artifact or enchantment, and 2 in a white, you gain 3 life. We have Expropriate. Okay, Council's Dilemma. Starting with you, each player votes for time or money. For each time vote, take an extra turn. After this one, for each money vote, choose a permanent owned by the voter and gain control of it. Exile, expropriate. In Garok's Wake. Destroy all creatures you don't control and all planeswalkers you don't control. That's a great board wipe because you still get to keep your stuff. And Plague Wind. Destroy all creatures you don't control. They can't be regenerated. So basically the same thing, but doesn't no planeswalkers. There wasn't planeswalkers back in Prophecy. So, and the last 2 cards we have Desolate Twin. When you cast Desolate Twin, put a 10/10 colorless Eldrazi creature token onto the battlefield. And he's also a 10/10. And we have Kozilek the Great Distortion. When you cast Kozilek the Great Distortion, if you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, draw cards equal to the difference. Has Menace, and discard a card with converted mana cost X. Counter target spell with converted mana cost X. He is a 12/12. So you can see our strategy here. You want to get Jodah out, you want to protect them, and you want to just throw down these big monsters for cheap. And these big spells that can do a lot, you're casting them for cheap. And we have the mana base, we got the mana fixing to reliably play all our big creatures. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment down in the description. And as always, may your packs be spicy.